fitter than your other half. And that's the title of today's short episode. Now, and during the episode or towards the end, I'm going to explain the number one reason, in my opinion, that you should stay fitter than your other half. Okay, let's find out. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tristan Lowe. I'm a professional personal trainer and sports massage therapist in my total now 18th year of services to men and women up and down the country. The title of today's short episode, Fitter Than Your Other Half, is something that's been actually on my mind now for, as little as 5, as much as 10 years, if not more. But okay, it's hard to pinpoint exactly when it did come into my mind, but surely now recent events have made me think of it even more. Okay, and why you should be fitter than your other half. Now, this one is not specifically geared towards the men or the women. Okay, we'll make it, for want of a better phrase, we'll make this one equal. It's not equal, but just for ease of the ease of the discussion, we'll make it equal. Why should, and why should we stay fitter than our other half? Now, the first thing is, as a trainer, the reason that we should stay fitter than our other half, that would be our wives, our girlfriends, our husbands, or boyfriends, or significant other, whoever you are, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, geographically, financially, and sexually exclusive to, that's your other half. Whether it's for guys, if it's your girlfriend or your fiance or your wife; for women, if it's your boyfriend, fiance, or husband, doesn't matter. All right, okay. If you're fitter, strength-wise, cardiovascular-wise, flexibility, mobility, functional strength, spine angles, everything like that. If you are physically fitter, that is a win. It's not a loss, it's a win. There are no benefits, let's make it clear. There are zero benefits to being unhealthy or unfit compared to, yes, comparison is the thief of joy, but not all the time, compared to your significant other, You won't benefit or stand to gain anything by consciously or subconsciously making yourself unfitter and unhealthier than your other half. All right, so now why should we do it? There are other reasons: cardiovascular strength, musculoskeletal strength, heart, lungs, organs, your posture, your mindset, your attitude, all of those things, all of those benefits from being fitter. Now, how do we do that? How do we make sure or ensure, how do we start, continue, or maintain good levels of physical and mental fitness? They are mutually exclusive. Our bodies work in symbiosis, internal symbiosis, from homeostasis right up until when we're born, right up until the day we keel over, which hopefully, if you're watching, is not till your 80s or 90s or after. But we have to improve to the best of our abilities and knowledge, with help or on our own, our health and fitness. If you are physically strong and able, compared to your girlfriend, fiance, or wife, that can only be to your benefit. It's not to your detriment. You've got to put a shelf up. You've got to lift a box that she can't lift. You've got to reach something she can't reach. You've got to move a heavy object that she can't do. You've got to climb in the loft because she doesn't want to. She's scared of heights or scared of falling. And so should you be. Remember that it's not the fall that kills you, it's what you hit on the way down. Look, now, if your girlfriend or wife is physically stronger than you and more flexible, possibly more flexible and mobility, but it shouldn't be physical strength, okay? It's certainly not from the waist upwards, possibly from the waist down. Everything else being equal, men are 2 to 3, if not 4 times naturally stronger in the torso than women. Legs, not so much. If a woman trains her legs, the same weights, the same times a week, eats the same food, her legs could get stronger than the man's. But ultimately, eventually, the men's legs will get stronger. But given everything else is equal, men's torsos are stronger, okay? So your torso, your arms, back, shoulders, chest, abdominals, obliques, hips, even waist should not be, or your grip should not be weaker than your significant others, okay? It may not be as flexible, you might not have the mobility. One thing it shouldn't be is weak, all right? There are zero benefits from being physically weak. Now, likewise with the women, all right? Women, if you are physically stronger than your boyfriend, fiance, or husband, there's going to be 2, possibly 3 reasons for that. 1, you exercise and he doesn't, of any description. You eat a more healthy diet, you sleep more, you exercise more. And that's the one that's probably the worst one, is the fact that you exercise more. But 2 would be that your other half has got a genetic disposition for poor health. Okay, he's got very bad or very poor genetics that he's inherited from his parents or even grandparents, but certainly parents. Now, the genetics part, though, only takes you up to a certain point in life. After that, it's lifestyle. If the guy is short, let's say a grown man, no pun intended, is only 5'5" or 5'8", that's short for a man over the age of, let's say, 21. Yeah, obviously depending on which country or race or ethnicity you come back from. I've travelled across the Far East, 4 different countries in the Far East: Korea, Japan, China, and Nepal, and they're all smaller than me. Okay, they might have been smarter, they might have been richer, they might have been more skilled in certain endeavours, but they were all smaller. But it's easier for me because I'm 6'4". But given everything else, okay, if your other half, ladies, is smaller than you, okay, shorter and weaker than you, that's either a poor lifestyle and or poor genetics, okay? Can't really do much about his genetics, so what he can do is improve his lifestyle. Now, it's incumbent upon you, ladies, to suggest something to your other half. To say to Dave or Brian or Gary or Steve, wherever you are up and down the country, look, I'd like you to start exercising. You know, you've got to say to them, I'd like you to start looking after your health, your organs, your liver, your lungs, your kidney, your pancreas. Look after your belly. You don't want a husband or a boyfriend with a fat belly. Yeah, a big abdominal distension from, overeating or excess calories consuming or too much alcohol, coupled with physical laziness. Yeah, so if you are fit and healthy, Lisa, Carol, Mary, Melissa, Shelley, wherever you are, it is actually down to you to say something to your other half. Don't be too sensitive. Yeah, he shouldn't be too sensitive. If he's overweight and out of shape, he knows he is. Yeah, he knows he's overweight and out of shape. You won't be telling him or explaining to him or bringing it up anything that he doesn't know. Yeah, if your boyfriend's got a front tooth knocked out, you're going to say something because it's so immediate, it's so unattractive. Well, what's more unattractive is for your boyfriend, fiance, or husband to be grossly overweight, because that is something that they've consciously or subconsciously done over a space of weeks, days, months, years, even decades, which shows a lack of self-care and a lack of self-discipline, and also a lack of priorities. Yeah, these guys that drive around in fast cars with jewelry on and flamboyant shirts and booking trips every 6 weeks, but they're overweight and out of shape. That may paper over the cracks, but it's not gonna stand you well in the long term, ladies. Yeah, I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm saying get rid of the fat. Yeah, take him to a trainer, take him to a dietitian, a nutritionist, a therapist. Hook him up with one of his bros or one of his mates that's working out, and get them to or you train with him. You go and get your trainer. You go to the gym together, go to a health club, and you train together. Why not do that? Lead by example. That can work both ways, yeah? Now, when I say fitter than your other half, one of you is going to be fitter. Yeah, aerobic, strength, speed, power, endurance, flexibility, functionality, and one of you's not. Now, that can alternate, over a space of as little as days. If you've got a bad night's sleep, you're a regular gym goer, but you still sleep really poorly, and it's like 2-3 weeks consecutive, you may have a heart flutters, you may have poor cognitive, abilities. So at that moment in time, yes, you might be stronger naturally from training or from exercise and nutrition, but if you've had really poor sleep, or you've had the flu, or an injury, at that moment in time, your other half might actually be in better shape, exclusive of their body composition. Now, I did say at the beginning of the episode, yeah, fitter, for those of you watching on YouTube, fitter than your other half. I did say towards the end of this episode, I'm going to come up with the number one reason why in 2026, I think it's very, very important to stay at the very least fit, at the very best fitter than your other half. The number one reason that I'm personally witnessing why people start exercising and throw away the junk food and cut down on alcohol and start working on their bodies and their health. You may have thought of it already, but this is something that's here to stay, whether we like it or not. I didn't invent it. I didn't come up with it. I've gone by my eye test, what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've personally witnessed and experienced, and also what I actually read. So here it is, the number one reason why people should stay fit, okay? And also, in conjunction, the number one reason why people get themselves fit and in shape. Here it is. You ready? 3, 2, 1, and there it is. Are you surprised? Well, don't be, okay? Because this is something that is on the rise in the UK, parts of Europe, parts of the Western world, America, USA, whatever you want to call it, Canada, Australia, and possibly even parts of the Far East and Eastern Bloc, but certainly the Western world. Divorce is one of the number one reasons, in my opinion, that people are starting to exercise and get themselves fit. And when I say people, let's say the ages of 25 and above, certainly 30 and above, right up until the age of, say, 70. Yeah. This is something that for a very, very high percentage of people that they're going to go through. And guess what? Every time someone goes through that, it's 2 people. It's not 1. So there's 2 minds, 2 thoughts, 2 opinions, 2 bodies, yeah, and the ripple effect of everyone else involved after. This is the number one reason why men and women should always keep themselves healthy and fit, because this is something that is possibly a 1 in 2, at the very worst, a 1 in 3 possibility for you if you're watching. It's uncomfortable, it can be ugly, it can be stressful, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, geographically, especially if there's children involved or a family involved. But this is something, guys and girls, you should always, always prepare for. I don't mean build up to it and instigate it, but have it, as a possibility. Yeah. Because I keep seeing, reading or hearing or witnessing on social media, sometimes in person, that 1, if not 2, of the parties involved, the man and the woman, suddenly find that their personal, physical and mental health is important. Physical health is important because they're either divorcing someone or they're going through a divorce. Now that should not be the case. You should not be unhealthy, physically unfit, overweight, and hooked on alcohol, cigarettes or narcotics and pharmaceuticals, and then decide, when you're going through a divorce, to sort it out. You should have that, sorted out even when you're married. Yeah. Finances, family issues, that is a totally separate discussion, and it's above my pay grade and not in my profession. But from the physiological point of view, this here, divorce, in my humble opinion, as a 55-year-old man, okay, born and raised in London and now residing in Lincoln, UK, my eye test, my ear test, and everything that I see now, divorce is becoming so regular, so prevalent in the Western world and possibly the Eastern world as well, okay? I've not looked into that in full detail, that it's bordering on the norm. So guys and girls, prepare your mind and body, get them in good shape, and that may reduce the onset, that may reduce the chance or the probability of divorce. Now, you may have 101 other reasons why, guys, you decide to divorce your wife, women, you decide to divorce your husband. It's never equal. It's mathematically impossible for it to be an exact 50-50 decision. It's not physically possible because we're not the same people. It could be somebody's 45% on the mindset of it, into it, and someone's 55% or 20-30, or heaven forbid, 99% on one part and 1% on the other part, but it can't be equal because we're not equal. Our bodies aren't equal. Our mindsets aren't equal. Yeah? What you can do though is keep yourself in good shape, good physical fitness. That's for your own self-respect, your own functionality or longevity or your own quality of life. And then should that uncomfortable subject, that uncomfortable proposition, we'll call it, arise, you're at the very least, you're physically fit and healthy to help you get through that very, very difficult time. Yeah, it's I've had it myself. I've been through it myself, but fortunately, I've been quite a reasonable athlete since the age of 11 or 12. Yeah, so one thing I never had to do was start losing weight or get rid of the love handles, or throw away all the rubbish in the kitchen, or stop my alcohol consumption, or stop smoking or vaping, or stop taking pharmaceuticals or narcotics. I never did any of that, so I didn't have to deal with that. I had to deal with relocating. I had to deal with stepping back into the gladiator arena of online dating, the first one in nearly 10, 11 years, but I was built for it. My body and mind, at the very least at the time, my body was prepared for it. The mind takes a little bit longer. It's soft tissue, it's water, it's matter. That can take a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade. But what I didn't have to actually sort out was stop being fat, stop being lazy, because I wasn't. And guys, if you're watching, and women as well, you shouldn't be either. Because that subject that I brought up today, that uncomfortable, difficult subject, is, in my opinion, other than good quality of life, is the number one reason in today's climate you should stay fit and healthy. Yeah. At the very best, it will stop that horrible outcome. At the very least, it'll help you to repair from it quicker than the other guy or quicker than the other woman. That's it. It's a short one today. I deal with the difficult subjects as a personal trainer, and some of them stay between the four walls in my line of work, and some of them I can air here. Anything but the names. Everything but the names of people that I've worked with. That's it. My name's Tristan Lowe. The channel's Health No Filter. You can find me on Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the social media channels. And until the next one, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and stay fitter than your other half. Bye for now.